1, 1, 2, 1,
2,
1, 2, 3, 2, 1,
2, 1, 1, 2, 4, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2,
I give up.
2 1s.
My name's Alex. I am the director of the new production of Magic Lozenge. Just found out the other day. Honestly, so excited about it.
So hello everybody, I am the production manager, I'm Tilly.
Hi. So I'm Felix Foote, and so far in Mugs, I've been acting for them all this time, but now I've just found out I'm set designer.
I am Jay, also known as Jay's Vlogs. I'm just starting up my YouTube career, so it's always good to plug it. But yes, I am at the moment, I am treasurer for Mugs, one of the 2 wonderful treasurers.
I'm Christopher, I'm the other treasurer on committee. I've been the set construction manager for the crew for the past 5 years. Getting really tired of it now, I want to try my hand at something new, so this year I'm going to be part of the cast.
I'm Kate, I'm the cast rep of Mugs for this year.
I'm Michael, I am chair of Manchester University's Gilbert and Sullivan Society.
So the production manager is, they basically manage the costumes, the set, the props, everything that's on stage and behind stage and above stage and below stage that isn't a person. Other than the people behind the stage who help give out the props.
A treasurer looks after the money and makes sure none of it is spent unwisely.
So the cast rep is someone who liaises with the committee and the members of the cast of the show. So I'm sort of the go-between. So if anyone in the cast has any issues, they can come to me and I can, you know, either help deal with them or pass them on to the committee if it's something that needs to be discussed more.
I have ultimate responsibility for the day-to-day running of the society. So if anything goes wrong or anyone dies or we fail to put on a show, it's kind of my fault.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you come in there. I'm Ed, I'm props manager, I'm social secretary, and I also play the Admiral Sir JML in Muggs's upcoming production of the Magic Lozenge.
Once a year, Muggs performs one of the works of Gilbert and Sullivan, a pair of Victorian playwrights.
The 14 operettas they did between 1871 and 1896, starting with Thespis, the music's lost for that, no one really talks about, and the Grand Duke, which is a load of bollocks anyway, no one really wants to do that. And they are one of the most influential people in the musical theatre, light opera world.
There's the cast who perform the shows on stage, and then there's the crew, and they, in the workshop, the Arch, they will build these wonderful props and sets and costumes.
So the Magic Lozenge is often considered to be the Ugly Duckling of the Gilbert and Sullivan canon. It was their 9th operetta and it's seldom performed compared to the big hits, which is why we thought it's probably good to do it in a pandemic.
So the Magic Lozenge is probably one of the lesser known of the G&S canon. It was an idea Gilbert had it's very early on, and Sullivan finally agreed to it, which is good. It's good to know that they got on well.
Explain the plot. Well, well, you know what G&S are like with their convoluted plots, so I'm going to try my best on this one.
So we open up on this picturesque little seaside village near Cornwall. It's a lovely place. It's mostly populated by bakers and carpenters, and you don't really need anything more than that. And the story starts with Captain Comasan and his second in command dude, Richard Headingley. They sail in, and story starts there.
And all the villagers are playing. They have this little festival every year. It's like, I believe it's weird names, like the most celebrated, but sometimes quite reasonable, most aptly thrifty, some...
The most aptly named but not thrifty festival.
The sometimes annual, but most often enjoyable, but have a go at being thrifty day.
The most aptly celebrated and often quite thrifty, but it's really complicated and we're gonna go along with it day.
A festival.
So the local sea captain, Captain Comasan, is also planning on using the celebration as a sort of retirement party, celebrating his 30 long years on the sea. And so he's returning from a really long voyage with his understudy, Richard Headingley.
But the thing is, Richard is gonna get married soon to this character named Irene, who's like the tallest woman in the world. But she is distressed because she forgot that she and Richard proposed, they had a thing. But now, Irene is in love with Agnes.
Agnes is like the leading lady. She is a carpenter, and she also has magic powers which come in useful later. She's kind of like the head of the carpenter's workshop in this little town in South England.
So the Right Honourable Admiral Sir JML, obviously he's Comasan's higher up. He's not super present throughout the whole thing. He's still nonetheless fairly important. He does have 2 lines.
Playing Ronald has been a bit of a journey.
I love being a chorus member in the Magic Lozenge. I get to sing, I get to dance. I get to sing, I get to dance.
Irene is all afluster with the news of Richard's impending return. And then, lo and behold, Richard shows up. Richard bursts into the carpentry shop and dances a hornpipe and causes quite the scene.
Agnes gets rid of him, but places like a magical wiretap on him so she can hear what he's saying, and
then we meet one of the other groups in the village, who are the bakers, led by Anthony and Ronald, who is Rafe. His name is spelt Rafe, but it's pronounced Ronald, another bit of Gilbertian wit. And what they do is they are planning to celebrate the return of Captain Comasan, and they are planning on building a massive 30-tiered cake for him, because after Captain Comasan has spent so long at sea, he has never tasted cake. So this is a very big thing for them. And they all sing this very manly, masculine song about baking cakes called The Soldiers of Our Cream. And it's all very hilarious. And unfortunately, it turns out that in this particular scene, they're not in the bakery, they're in the carpentry shop. And they're all just like, oh dear. And then we don't see them again, don't see most of them again until Act 2.
Richard doesn't really understand why Irene, his fiancée, has suddenly turned on him. And so he goes in search of answers, and now he wanders into a guy called Mark Graham.
Mark Graham is sort of a representation of the wind of fate and change and destiny, acknowledging his presence with only a few appearances, but a few powerful appearances.
Mark Graham only really exists for exposition and just tells Richard, you know, it would be really useful if you went to the graveyard to talk to Captain Comasan.
But what Captain Comasan doesn't know is that Richard is planning to leave the Navy, but he hasn't yet managed to tell his superior officer. And then Mark Graham tells him again that a couple of the bakers are coming to the graveyard, and they're going to pay their respects to a failed cake. And so there we see Anthony and Ronald come back, and they consult with Richard about his dilemma, and they sing this song about when you're trying to bake with a dismal headache,
And so Richard decides that he is going to commission the town's magician to make a magic lozenge.
The magic lozenge is a bit of a plot device in the show. So the idea is that, you know, when you like suck on it, like magic stuff starts happening.
It has a 3 in 4 chance of causing the person who takes it to fall madly in love with the next person they see, but it also has a 1 in 4 chance of the person who takes it being turned into several worms.
Unbeknownst to him, the town's magician is Agnes, and Agnes and Irene have both been listening in.
So they hatch a plan to just stuff Richard in a box and stuff that box into the ocean, which is a great plan to get rid of your problems, but it's also murder.
And so when Richard comes to collect the lozenge from the town's magician, who's also Agnes, Agnes and Irene trap him in a crate and throw him into the ocean, where obviously he drowns. And Agnes starts to feel really guilty about this because she just killed a man, and weird things start happening everywhere because she's got magic powers, and so the guilt starts to like influence the people around her, and kind of chaos ensues.
Like, the weather's turning wacky, and people are dating people they didn't like before, and dogs and cats are living together, and it is just manic, and everyone knows that something's going on.
And so all of these goings on go on as I want to do for a little while, and then Agnes starts to realise that they're caused by her sense of guilt, and this makes her feel even more guilty. And so she kind of just spirals because her guilt is producing terrible things to all of her loved ones and all of her neighbourhood. And then the guilt from that makes her feel even more guilty, and it just goes on. And she realises that the most logical course of action is to confess her sins and face the music.
The captain wants to execute Agnes because she killed one of his best men, but then it turns out that Richard was going to leave the Navy anyway.
Mark Graham actually helps reveal that information because the show has just gotta move on, and we can't stay in this state of manic happenings forever.
So Captain Comasand's attitude completely flips because mutinying from the Navy is a significantly worse crime than murdering the man who mutinied so. And so he decides immediately to pardon Agnes and Irene. The two of them go off to get married. The bakers let off a couple of fireworks.
And Mark Graham says his work is done, and he vanishes to help anybody else in need.
I think that all happens in Act 1.
For recruiting, we've had to change our methods, because usually we talk to the crew and see who wanted it and then go outside, but things have been a bit different. The amount of crew numbers have been quite small, but after advertising over social media, there were a lot of people with plenty of time who really wanted these roles.
So recruitment didn't go well at all this year. So I am once again the set construction manager.
So yeah, we put out advertisements and people emailed back. So we have a good production team.
So I hadn't actually intended to be props manager. What happened was the email came out to kind of all MUGSS members saying the different roles in the production team that were needed. And I saw the title props manager, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but the word manager is actually an anagram of the word anagram. I was quite excited by this, so I sent it to the sent it back to them, pointing this out, and they mistook that for an application to be props manager, and from the feedback I got, quite a strong one. So here I am, sorting out all the props.
A vital member of the crew.
We have a female chorus of 1 person.
Oh, my set designs, I'm very happy with them.
Alright, but anyway, we've got our background set up with, its casual little details. And, we can get those casual little details later. Now, woodworking shop. Back to the woodworking shop. So, got a door. I feel like we've got some tools also set up out here. I'm glad your guys' screens aren't glitching out. Workbenches. Yeah, that's a good workbench. That's definitely a bench. And I feel like there should be a tree in here, so there could be like a little tree house to show the woodworking prowess of our woodworkers. And then we got the bakery. Yeah, that's how you spell bakery.
They told me just draw what you see in your mind, and I do.
Just want to give a little cheerfulness to our backdrop to accompany us as we plan
Felix,
our...
do you mind if I stop you? Do you mind if I stop you there?
Yeah?
I mean, I get the sentiment. I get this nice sort of happy sentiment all going on, but putting smiley faces on everything, this is a GNS, not a Max Fleischer cartoon, please. Can we?
And then they tell me, that's too much, tone it down, and that's the best compliment you can get.
I feel like we got bags of flour near the bakery to show that, yes, these are people that work with flour, and they're proud of it. Yeah. A little chimney.
I approve.
Yeah. A little table where they set up cakes and biscuits that are offerings to Mark Graham, like you do. And yeah,
not
I feel like
to Mark Graham specifically. They're offering it to other characters.
Because, there's no putting too much into art like this.
Okay, I like that. I like the look of that. What about you?
And that's great to know when it's your first time doing something.
My directorial skills, they're fine. I've got no problem with me.
Oh, Alex Spacey.
It's been quite difficult having rehearsals for the show over Zoom. I still think everyone's doing the best they can, and Alex is doing such a good job, bless him. He's making them really exciting and interesting.
Ooh, yeah, we could all do different ones. And we all have different inspirational quotes from our quarantine. We can release it as mugs.
Can my inspirational quote just be screaming?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, I want my one to be. I want like.
Running the YouTube channel, I am my own director essentially. I would do things very differently. That's what I'll say on that.
You know the picture of the people building the Empire State Building?
Right.
Like that, but with the hang in there kitty, like dangling from that steel beam.
Classic, yeah.
Oh, no.
And with the words, just ignore your problems and they'll probably go away.
Nice.
Oh, I feel so bad.
What
My
would
cat's
mine be?
under so much pressure.
Oh, sorry, I've just realized Alex is in this call.
Oh.
Alex.
Has he been in the whole time?
I don't know. I was just scrolling through the people and I saw him. Alex, I think your microphone's muted.
His face does not look happy.
Oh no.
Yeah, you're muted, bud.
I'm so sorry, Alex. I didn't see you sooner. Have you been there for a while?
Of that.
His director style isn't something I'm used to, is what I'll say.
Excuse me 1 second.
So yeah, whose quote were you on? Chris's, yeah?
Yeah. What would my quote be? What do you think?
Why the fuck did I take this station to the director?
That's not a bad quote.
I just don't know how to get through to these people sometimes. It's painful.
Residing in such dreary village.
Sir, we do not take kindly to your attitude.
Oh, hush now. Why, my heart could tell village time and again, and you ought to listen to my...
Oh, it's happened again.
Oh, we've always had technical difficulties. But that happened even before Zoom.
But it's everyone else making a problem for themselves and then blaming it on me.
Don't get me wrong, Alex is a fantastic, fantastic artist. I really, really admire him in that sense.
Let's try. Shall I just carry on?
Yep, that's fine, Kate. Just carry on.
Okay, Dearie me, you twat. I must say, while the village does seem to owe you a
Stop. 1 sec. What was that like again?
Can we not have the script be a Google Doc, please? It's... I just don't think it's a good idea.
Oh dear.
Okay, who wrote it?
Well, rehearsals are going.
So, committee meetings are fine.
Can you read it back to me from the minutes?
So it's thing about it's about your mouth is now bereft of. I mean, I do it in my terms. Saying
That's why you're the minuter.
Saying Mr. Roworth's mouth is now bereft of biscuit. He would the minute secretary would like to thank him for clarifying such matters.
Good. Have you gotten the fact that I asked you to read that out?
Oh my god.
No.
Yeah, out of interest, does this clearly to a cursive
We
minute?
don't have time for this.
Yes, fine. We'll move on with it.
Thank you. The MUGSS committee is generally okay at staying on topic.
Oh,
How cute's my cat, everyone? Everyone say hi to Heidi, the cat.
Hello.
Hello.
Brilliant, that takes recruitment up to 1.
The general consensus is that we're all here to sort of buckle down and get to work.
Why
I'm not having the rice that night. I'm having a whole jar full of rice that night.
Why don't you get a separate
That's a lot of rice. It expands when you cook it. It's a ridiculous thing to say.
Separate.
Okay.
It's a ridiculous thing to say.
Up.
Everything you
Shut
say is
up.
ridiculous. Sorry.
I haven't even got this in the minutes.
Shut up. Okay.
Shut up.
Shut up. Overall, I'd say we're a pretty decisive bunch, and I think we're pretty good at making decisions.
Like there'll be a winch and someone will come out winching down and it'll be me. Like, whoa, I disappeared down there and I'm coming back from up there.
That
Whoa.
sounds amazing.
Wow.
That does sound good, to be fair.
Good date ideas, guys. See, I told you this would be a brilliant idea. Well done, Ed. You had that.
Abstentions from the vote.
Meetings are fine.
The socials have been different as well.
You've all got your pen and paper ready. Come on, pens and papers. Pens and papers. You've got 30 seconds before I start asking the question.
Nobody told me there was a pub quiz.
The MUGSS pub quiz, Rosie. It's tradition.
What?
Get your pen and paper.
I wasn't prepared for this.
Why does everyone have pen and paper?
I'm always ready for this.
Rehearsal.
Obviously, it's still really nice to talk to everyone and see everyone. It's just not the same as if we were going to be in person.
17 seconds. Pub quiz. Pub quiz. Pub quiz. Pub quiz. Pub quiz. Pub quiz. 9 seconds.
I only have an iMac to write with.
We have pens. Who
What
are
are we
you?
doing?
On computers, computers have to learn.
Who writes things anymore?
Good idea.
Who writes things anymore?
We had some fun ideas.
So why not guess how many grains of rice are in the coffee jar?
And lots of them are rice themed, actually.
This is it next to an empty bottle of Fentimans.
It was guess what type of rice it is, and guess why I bought the rice in the first place, and guess what recipe I'm going to use this rice for.
Let's find out. 1, 2,
So exciting.
3, 4,
Do you mind if we carry on with the rehearsal?
5.
So games that you're able to do over Zoom are pretty limited.
Yes.
We also played Pass the Parcel, and that didn't last very long. It got a bit boring because and expensive, you know, shipping the parcel from house to house, and then you have to leave it for a few days to quarantine before you can even open it. And the Royal Mail lost it eventually anyway, so that was a disaster too.
So obviously with these times, it's been a pandemic, so it's been a bit more difficult. But I think I've risen to the occasion.
Question 1 of this round. What is that showing? There is a correct answer.
You know the whole
Do
point
a
of Rorschach
subjective
is that it's
question?
not a correct answer, right? Like that's
There is
that's the
definitely a
whole
correct
point.
answer here.
There is a correct answer to
No,
all.
but scientifically, Rorschach, the whole point is that there isn't a correct
Rosie, you're on dangerous grounds when you're starting to talk about scientific nature of the Rorschach test.
Spent a lot of my time making pub quizzes when I should have been making props or doing work for my PhD.
Integrate with respect to the Rorschach test.
It's been 3 years, please no.
Thin Rorschach test, cos squared Rorschach test minus e to the 2 Rorschach tests with respect to the Rorschach test.
Any complaints have been quickly muted in the Zoom room, so you can't really let dissent spread when you're trying to put on these socials.
So I thought we could all tell each other an interesting fact about ourselves.
Nice, happy socials.
Ed, as a props manager, has been really wonderful. He's very enthusiastic, he's very involved, he makes sure things get done.
Right, so Ed, I understand you have been looking through the props list for me.
Yeah, I have.
Right, so can we go through that now, please?
Yeah. You want everything to be spot on. You're the director, it's your vision. I'm behind you.
Absolutely, thank you. I'm glad you see it my way. Right, so we will start off in the carpentry shop. Now, obviously, want the audience to know that this is a place where bits of wood are shaped and sawed into various wooden objects. So what I was thinking was, on the walls of the shop, we had like woodworking paraphernalia, like saws, few hammers, few things like that. Just sort of definitely get the audience to know this is a place where woodwork happens. So
you want tools so that the audience can go, that's carpentry.
Absolutely, you've got it.
Yeah, no, that's great. Just one thing, objects designed to cut through things, dancing and singing, chorus members, not a good health and safety mix. So I thought instead something actually we've got in quite abundance in our own homes is bread knives. Get bread knives there instead. And they're also used for cutting, so.
I've enjoyed working with the director. He certainly has taken my ideas on, but he's listened to them.
We'll move on to stealing in the carpentry shop. So obviously, with a place where sawing is going to happen, there's obviously going to be a lot of sawdust on the floor. So can you source some of that for me?
I could, I won't, because like I said, there's a lot of quite intricate choreography, and sawdust will get people to slip over. We don't want like your show just falling apart halfway through because everyone's on the floor. Instead of sawdust, I was thinking, what else could we use? I think given we're already using bread knives, if we use bread crumbs, it'll bring that whole scene together, I think.
Hasn't always liked what he's heard.
So just a couple more things for the carpentry shop. We'll need some random bits of wood and timber out there. We got that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, like timber, just big long bits of wood. Especially from like small trees, just kind of cylindrical, long. Yeah. I've got baguettes.
Some props we didn't have to do much work on anyway, so.
I need a vice.
Well, for some people it's alcoholism. Other people, it's lust.
Not that kind of vice.
So what is it you want then?
I meant a vice.
Well, my advice to you would be just to maybe
Look, I
treat
said
some of your
advice, not
the
advice.
people trying to help your vision just a little bit.
Look, Ed, will you just shut up for a moment? Please. I said I did not want advice, I wanted a vice.
Well, I mean, the journalism can be quite patchy, really.
Jesus Christ, Ed. I want a vice. You put wood in, and then you do that. Is it simple as that?
Oh, woodworking vice.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the arch is full of them. We've got them coming out of our ears.
We've got a lot stocked up from years of this society running, so...
Right, for the cemetery, we'll need some gravestones. Have we got any?
Yes, I think we still have some in the arch from Harold Chipman Sorcerer. So that
yeah.
one is
Yeah, I've forgotten about that, unfortunately.
I keep having the urge to sit down amongst my props and talk to a camera.
Right, so moving on from that, we move on to the bakery. So, in a similar vein to the carpentry shop, I'll need, once the audience is placed, this is place where bread and cakes and various other bread-related and wheat-based products are made and sold. So, again, things like bread knives on the walls, bread-making paraphernalia, and things like that. You can sort that rightly.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got a load of tools lying around the arch, so we can use some of them. You know, just a few saws.
But I think the end result will be something that he can be proud of.
Breadcrumbs for the floor of the bakery.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's quite what I've got, and what we've got plenty of in the arch is sawdust. I thought a bit of that'll look the part. You know, the audience are a few meters away from the stage anyway.
You can bolt bits of timber together, but you don't truly know what it's like to give something life.
Production meetings have been, well, quite productive. There's been a lot of talking.
the crew. We've started making some of the puppets, and we're going to move on to the set in probably the next couple of weeks.
Wait. Tilly, did you
Yeah.
say puppets?
Yes, puppets, like we discussed last week.
Wait. Since when did we discuss puppets last week? I have no memory of discussing puppets.
Well, to solve social distancing, we can't have the cast too close together, so them controlling puppets meant they could be close together.
Where did that come into my vision? I have no memory of discussing this at all.
All seems to be going well. I think there's just a few different catching up points that some people are having to do.
But it was discussed last week in the meeting and you were there.
I don't remember it. And now you tell me the people have already started making puppets for the show that I'm directing, but somehow me, as director, was not informed that we are using puppets, which goes completely against my vision. I did not agree to it, and now it's probably going to mess up the entire vision I have for the rest of the show, and no one even thought to tell me about it.
But nothing too strenuous.
I do not remember you saying this.
You must do. It was a big discussion last week. We were trying to work out what we can do to do social distancing.
I have a lot of things on my mind as director. You can't expect me to remember everything.
Well, there was loads of suggestions. People mentioned, like, I don't know, using hazmat suits as instead of costumes.
Using gas masks from the version of Iron Anthe you were going to set in the Blitz.
Yeah, and then I brought up maybe projecting the cast members onto the stage in a cool futuristic show, and you really shot that down. I remember it.
When did we discuss that? Got no idea.
My idea of an animated show. Like, come on.
Oh, I remember that. That was a shit idea, but I have no memory of the rest of it.
They're very hectic. I think hectic's probably the best word for it, but not bad.
But you were taking minutes. You minute the meetings, so you'd have minuted yourself agreeing to it.
Yeah, and you agreed to it a lot.
It was being recorded for the documentary, so there's video footage of you agreeing to it. You made a sandwich board that said, "Puppet show, my ideal show." You then took a picture of yourself wearing that sandwich board and put it as your Facebook profile picture. It is your current Facebook profile picture.
Yeah, you made a massive Tumblr blog about it. I think it got a little bit weird, but I mean,
Yeah, and then I followed the blog, and then you saw that I followed it, and then you blocked me on Tumblr. Like, there are a lot of steps to this.
All right.
Yeah, smoothly as ever.
Well, we have made quite a few of the puppets. We have Anthony here, a good few others. So we've kind of made quite a lot of headway on this idea that we all agreed to last week already.
Tilly, that is beside the point. The point is, I was not informed. It's not like I'm the director or anything.
it's not like you were the guy mating the minutes of last week.
It's not like you're some snarky bitch who can't stick her nose in.
You minuted the meeting. You agreed to it.
We all agreed to it. We took
And
a
you
vote.
weren't there, so we didn't retell
You know what? Fuck this. You have... Fine, I understand. I get it. I've been beaten. Have your fucking puppets in the show. Fine, keep them.
Yeah, been really good.
Me, I guess I feel I might be a little disappointed. I can't step into the new miniaturized sets. I do get a rush when I'm in a show of stepping out into another world that's beautifully decorated and colored.
When we put together a good set,
There's a lot you can do from social distance, from a social distance of each other, but there's also only so much you can do. That's one thing I work a lot with the committee, is building up the crew relations with the cast, to make sure the cast understand. I think some of it's understanding. The cast need to understand how important the crew is, and that just because they are not on stage does not mean they're not there. I think they should be valued a heck of a lot more.
Yeah, replacing the cast with puppets, it's...
This is my puppet. This stupid, flimsy thing is my puppet.
This one here is Agnes.
Well, allegedly, it's Captain Commerson. But what the fuck is this? Seriously, it looks like a fucking pirate.
Where's the difference? Where's the difference?
This is Irene.
It doesn't look anything like me. Why would you say that? Look at this face. Stupid.
He's not a pirate. He's a member of the House of Lords in disguise as a Royal Navy captain. Why does he look like this? He doesn't have a hook. Since when have you heard a member of the House of Lords that has a fucking hook?
Yeah, it's very creative. I mean, I admire the creative integrity, for sure. Yeah.
Here's Iolanthe. Hold it correctly. Iolanthe.
It looks like the Mikado. We're not doing the Mikado.
You know, in MUGSS we're all actors to some degree. I think when you're an actor, you've got to use that part of your imagination, and I think most of us have been able to pull off acting through puppets.
Of course I'm going to struggle. How does anyone act through this? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? This is awful.
Choreographing, very difficult when your arms are stuck in the same position.
I think this is Apollo.
So I'll be honest. I made this. Art has been difficult recently. Yeah.
I didn't make this myself. I went on Etsy to get it. It looked. I thought it looked fantastic in the photo that was on the site, and now it's arrived. And it's purple. Yeah, this is purple. I don't know if you can see that as nutritional information, and actually down the side of this jumper here, I've got nutritional information. So it's actually pretty good likeness, really.
Richard Headingley, this little guy.
So yeah, there have been challenges with using Zoom to act and also using puppets to act. I would say it's been okay. We've all pulled it off one way or the other. Obviously, you know, with my background as well being in YouTube, I'm used to acting in front of a camera. I'm used to being in front of a camera, even not acting. Maybe edit that bit out actually. But yeah, I'm used to being in front of a camera, and yeah, it's not much different than doing YouTube. It's just obviously with the channel I don't tend to use props. Can I put this down, by the way?
Measurements goes. Thank you. Right, right, puppets up, everybody. Right. Chris, a little more enthusiasm, please. It looks a bit miserable. Oh, Jay, marvellous. Just make sure all the ladies, of course, going up in front. Hey, marvellous as ever. And Michael, yes, you're doing the messages. You got, that's fabulous. Right. What's it look like? Well, fuck.
So we're not using the puppets anymore because they've realised that everyone would have to be at least 2 meters between each other.
Well, that was a waste of bloody time.
Yes, we are no longer using puppets.
What? We're not using puppets anymore.
And so Jim, one of the secretaries, resigned from the committee.
Right, so at the previous rehearsal, there was an incident where there's a little incident over the pronunciation of the word wind, whereas in the context of the play, in the context of this, it's a rhyming couplet, so obviously I think it should be pronounced wind. It just makes sense. But Mr. Musical Director said, oh no, it's normal. Normal people pronounce it wind. And unfortunately, he got half the cast on his side, and half the cast took my view, and the whole thing ended up very acrimoniously.
Sometimes the committee gets called upon to do some conflict resolution.
So what I mean, I personally think it's wind in this context, and I personally think that's how it should be. But even then, I know as director, I have the authority to do so, but I felt it best to get a committee mandate on this anyway. Not that I don't have the authority, I just want to make this official.
Yeah, I get you. It was awkward. For anyone that wasn't there, it was awkward. Personally, I agree with you, and I think as director, we should also just go with what you say because it's your vision for the show. And I see why I need to do this though, but if the musical director is a staunch opponent of you on this. So yeah, committee generally, how do you feel?
Well,
But thankfully, the committee tends to conduct itself well, even in contentious topics.
Well, I've not seen you at any rehearsals, so I don't think anyone is actually
shows you how much you
to
pay
your
attention.
opinion.
Guys,
I'm the star of the show, but you don't know what you're talking about. You do not have any experience that I and Alex do.
Look, just
one at a time. One at a time.
I'd say generally, everybody conducted themselves in the most professional manner and made themselves heard in the most civilised way possible.
He's gonna ruin the show if we do it wrong.
Well, it's not incorrect. It's not going to ruin the show, the
Why do you care about
pronunciation
the
of
show?
one
Nobody
word.
showed
The
up.
inclusion of you in the show might ruin the show, but I
Guys,
don't think this decision is going to make the whole show much
Hey,
better.
Kay, you're having a go at my casting him?
Guys.
Personally, I'm having a go at my casting him, but he doesn't show up.
I think maybe we need some kind of compromise solution.
I don't.
So why not? We've got, some people want it when some people want it whined. Why not try a compromise that satisfies everyone equally? We pronounce it weaned.
So I figured the most democratic solution to such a hot issue was to hold a vote.
I don't think any camp is going to convince their opponents. So let's just put it to a vote. And I'd like to remind you that this is a directorial decision and we should throw ourselves in the backing, or we should provide support for the director that we have appointed and provide him with such a mandate to carry this out. With that in mind, I would like to open the votes on accepting a pronunciation of the word wind for the Magic Lozenge. We all okay with that? Okay. Accept commit to a pronunciation of either wind versus wind for the purpose of the Magic Lozenge. Abstentions from the vote. One abstention. Votes for wind. 3. Votes for wind. 3. Reopen pronunciations.
I think we should consider weaned.
Thank you.
And so, when no clear preference emerged from the vote, I did what any diplomat would do and tried to coerce people to change their minds.
In the interest of providing our appointed director with a mandate for getting this show moving so we don't have to get hung up on things like this, I would like to urge anybody that abstained or voted for reopen pronunciations to pick a camp, please. Okay. We'll rerun the vote. Abstentions from the vote. Votes for wind. 3. Votes for wind. 4. Reopen pronunciations.
This is the hill I'm willing to D on.
I wish you would.
Okay, I do.
Wind it is.
Oh, good.
Wind it is.
Excellent.
We are
Awesome.
pronouncing the word as
Well
wind
done,
for the
guys.
Magic
I think we
Lozenge.
made the right decision. I think you don't have the authority to say that, Christopher.
Done this. Look,
Stop.
The rest of us know what we're talking about.
Look, I have the mandate.
You don't know anything. You're an idiot.
Move on.
Look, well, frankly, I'm disgusted by how all this has carried on. This should not have been brought to the committee for a vote. I couldn't even get a word in edgeways. As usual, I feel like my voice and the voice of the cast has been ignored. I'm formally resigning from my position on this shambolic committee, and I wish you all of the best of luck, but I cannot work in this mindless bureaucracy. You should all be ashamed of this non-issue ending up in such a vicious and hostile farce, and for God's sake, it's pronounced wind.
Now look what you've done.
What I've done.
Like a
judge.
Is that an actual resignation?
This is all your fault.
He's resigned.
So yeah, no more Jim. First resignation of the year. Hopefully the last.
Well, the most recent publicity meeting, the one we just had,
Okay, guys, we are in dire straits, not gonna lie. Last year's production wasn't very lucrative, didn't get many bums on seats. People really weren't ready for Pearl Harbor Pinafore, so we really got to think of something new, some new way of selling the Magic Lozenge, even in these times, because we need to get Mugs out of the red and getting the attendance it deserves. So I'm just gonna open the floor. Anyone have any ideas to sell this show? Please shout it out. Just go. Go, go, go.
so we spent ages brainstorming creative ideas. I mean, ages doing that as well.
Okay, in that case, I'm just gonna get the cogs turning. So I had an idea based on the traditional way that you sell a show in our situation, flyers, printed flyers. Now, obviously, at the moment, we can't really go out too far into the public and give them a bunch of flyers. So I was thinking, everybody's indoors, everybody's locked away at the moment. So the best way of doing this is to bring the flyers to them. Go door to door and hand over the flyers through the letterboxes of every place in Manchester. And then it hit me that this could actually work in our favor. Now, I did the math on this, and apparently there is a population of about 500,000 people in the city of Manchester area alone. And as a result, think of it that way, 500,000 people equals 500,000 potential audience members. This is bigger than we've ever projected before. So I am thinking we hand over flyers door to door, get everybody seeing the amazing logo that we've got and just getting it out there. More people than ever will see it, and we can really, really make an impact on this show. Does anyone have any thoughts on flyers door to door?
Loads of ideas were thrown out.
Well, you see, I actually thought of something which is probably more COVID secure than that. How about we produce an animated trailer for the show? We could have an underwater shot, maybe with some fire and smoke, featuring a shark circling a boat, and the sailors look at one another and say, I think we're going to need a bigger boat. Then we should show another boat nearby, featuring Captain Comerson and Richard, who rescue them from near certain death, and then the shark jumps out of the water and lands on Captain Comerson's boat and kills both him and Richard.
Okay, so back on topic, any issues regarding the flyers that anyone can foresee?
Hours brainstorming ideas.
Well, this is where, this is the time we need to make the most effort. So in that case, I would say get on it, have a think about it. Anyway, with that in mind, so flyers door to door, let's put that in the pile. Let's put that in the pile. Anyone else have any thoughts on how to engage eye to eye with the audience that we potentially have? Felix, like the arm,
yeah.
go.
Yeah, I got one. I've been brainstorming for a bit. So I'm thinking like we need, don't interrupt me right now, Floppy. We need something that will go out, reach out to people outside, because person-to-person interaction is important, but we need it to be aloof. So what's better for that than a mystery, like one of those like ARGs that's becoming really popular online, but musical theater. So people exit their homes to get groceries, to take walks, those little moments outside that they need to have. And then as they're walking the now empty streets, what do they see out of the corner of their eyes? They see a mysterious figure dressed in mismatched clothing for another time, another place. And what is he saying to them? Just barely audible on the wind, but interesting little snippets and words of wisdom that seem appropriate for some magical place far away. And then what does he leave behind for them to pick up from a social distance? It's a flyer for our show. It's a mask. It's the hand sanitizer, and it'll tell them where they need to go to figure out the answer to this mystery. And the answer, of course, is Mark Graham, who is one of the pivotal characters of our show. And through this, we get our audience, as well as giving them this poetical closure that they need to get through these hard times.
One was listened to. It was Stuart and Jasmine's, their wonderful idea of flying to every house in Manchester.
So, thoughts? Come on, guys, we need to push something here. Yeah, I am open to any other thoughts. Come on, we got to get it rolling. Got to get it rolling. Come on.
What are the flyers?
Great progress. Thank God. Okay.
Sorry, did you say you've ordered them already?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, how much did it cost?
£3,000 and £3,000 and £49.99.
You've ordered them already? That's why would you do that? That's so much money.
£3,000
on flyers alone. So yeah, surprise, surprise, me and Chris now have to do some emergency fundraising. So that's how the meeting went.
What?
£3,000.
I am furious at Stuart and Jasmine. No, we can't afford that. We're gonna need to get the money from somewhere. We cannot afford that. That's an insane amount of money.
Right, well, fundraising. Throw ideas.
We'll do the classic tombola. Everyone loves a tombola. Never fails. There's no way we're ever gonna get this money back. Not even from ticket sales or just anything. We could sell bits of the set after the show. Why? Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, with Tombola, you have a number of different prizes, little things like the set that you can take home and bigger prizes that people might actually want.
If it's going down, I ain't going down with it. I'm done. I'm getting out early. We still need to come up with this insane amount of money. This thing is gonna I don't know how we're gonna do this.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
What a waste of money. There's no way we can ever recover from this. We have no money left. Oh my God.
So I've got, just hypothetically, we're in the arch, right? And Chris is there, of course. He's always there. And he's just using a circular saw and he just gets a bit of kickback. And oh no, tragic. He's cut his own right arm and leg off. And he could just sue and get money, right?
No. That's a terrible idea. For starters, I would sue MUGSS. It's going to cost MUGSS even more money. The society's going to go down, and it's all going to be my fault, and the stupid unions, and...
What we need to do is take out a life insurance policy on Chris. Then, if he's got an accident, we get the money. You just need to make sure it looks like an accident.
Sorry about that. This year is absolutely terrible. It's absolutely atrocious.
So when the latest lockdown was called, a few of us were actually in the arch, and so we ended up being shut in there, which was horrible.
Oi, watch it.
Can you stop moving?
Just careful.
Just stop moving and I'll be careful.
I'm not moving my arm.
Stop moving!
Oh my God.
Stop
Hurry up.
moving! I'm trying to social distance here. It's very difficult.
This is so stupid.
You're so stupid.
Wow, great comeback. Just hurry up.
Do you want me to draw on your clothes or what?
No!
Well then stop talking.
It's not this hard.
How many hazmat suits have you drawn?
Guys, I've just got a news alert. We're going back into lockdown.
What?
Again. There's going to be another lockdown effective immediately.
Is in right now?
As in, yeah, from now.
What does that mean?
Are we?
I don't know. I guess that means we've got to go. But
Right, up, out, out.
I mean, is it like the first time?
Oh my god.
Yeah, it just says full lockdown.
Right, yeah. Better go then, yeah.
Anytime today. It's not like there's a
Funny. Guys,
What? What?
we're locked in.
Wait,
There's a
what?
fence in the
Wow.
way.
Why is there a fence there?
I wasn't there when we got here.
Really?
What were you doing?
10 minutes ago. It wasn't there then.
It's
Mo-
literally just
most
been
efficient
announced.
thing the union have clearly done. But like, what are we going to do?
How are we
We're
gonna get
stuck in-
out? There's a pandemic going on right now. We're in lockdown. We need to get out.
Shouldn't be
Someone
here.
wants it and bans us as well.
We
We're in
can't.
Oh my god, I didn't think about that.
Oh, we need to get out.
Right, I'm not getting arrested
can't-
with you. We need to leave. We need to
We
leave.
can't leave.
How? Oh
There is
my
a
god.
fence here.
Not least because Christopher was in there as well, and he made it into this big thing where he was shouting at me, and it was just really unprofessional and uncalled for. Like, it was my fault that we were being locked in the arch, and we're not supposed to be here. We need to go.
We
need to go. Guess what? We can't.
Just, we need to get out of
Stop
here.
yelling at us.
You stop yelling. Oh my god. This is the worst.
Here.
Like,
Yeah.
look, I hate the fact that I'm here with you guys
Yeah,
already
we
enough.
hate the fact that
I
we're here
don't
with you
want to
as
be
well.
here any
Nobody wants
longer.
to be here with you. Not a single person in this world wants to be locked in here with you, Grace.
Rosie,
Nobody wants.
this isn't helping. This isn't helping. We need to work together.
How?
Try and find some
How?
But he's not exactly helping himself.
It is useless.
Shut up.
Shut
Doesn't matter.
up to the arch. Surely, it's the only way we can get a
Why are you
fence
making
down.
this
What's the point
so
of having crew? We can't get a fence down.
Oh god.
Oh, guys, actually, this isn't that big.
What?
Oh.
Did you just? We've been here for an hour. Didn't even check the fence.
We could just bring it in.
Move.
Oh.
Have to do everything yourself around here. So in the hour we've been here, Chris, you didn't think.
I'm going home.
You didn't think of looking at the fence, did you?
Not you didn't either.
Move out my way. I'm going.
Go. Fine.
Right.
Do I care?
Anyway, so that was a whole thing. He's so difficult to work with.
So, thanks to the rule of 6, we have to make some slight amendments to the blocking, and we also have to place a bit of a limit on the size of the audience.
I mean, obviously, we will only be performing the show to one member of the audience at a time, because we've got to keep to the rule of 6, and once you account for the cast, that leaves enough room for one member of the audience.
We can only sell 1 ticket per show. That is a problem.
But I mean, the rule of 6 and just go fuck itself, really.
I imagine financially, this isn't going to be MUGSS' best year.
I don't see how we're going to break even, if I'm honest.
For various different reasons on every level, from chair to committee to director, whatever, to the various managers, is kind of a problem of leadership. Sometimes decisions have been changed, often at very short notice, and that leads everyone else not really knowing what's going on. It's the bleed leading the bleed, really.
So, Jim resigned ages ago, and Kate resigned because she didn't like the idea of all of her personal relationships being torn apart by conflicts on committee. Chris resigned because he was pissed off at a decision the publicity team made. Jay resigned because she couldn't handle being treasurer on her own after the publicity team spent $3,000 on flyers. Ed resigned to spend more time with his family, and now Alex has just resigned as secretary, and I don't know what to do.
We're in quite a lot of debts, unfortunately, at the moment.
The show's not going to get done in time. After everything that's just happened.
We held an emergency general meeting last week to see whether or not anybody could help give me a hand running things, because it's just me and nobody ran, and so it's still just me, and I am just here, chair, running this.
So I think when people see at least one person with the right spirit, then it has an effect.
Well, aside from the fact that we've wasted all our money on useless publicity, we spent a load of time running about puppets. The show's in a global pandemic, we've got virtually no audience members coming to the shows, the cast is divided on the pronunciation over a bloody word, and the cast and director don't see eye to eye. Also with the crew. And Spike. God, I'm annoyed with Spike at this point. Aside from that, pick one.
I just can't do this. I just can't do this. I'm struggling. I just cannot do this.
Tomorrow is opening night, and earlier today, loads of people have been told that they have to self-isolate. So Alex can't be there for his directorial debut, which is really sad. Michael won't be there, so honestly, I'm not sure what's going to happen about the role of Irene. Also Tilly and Ed and Spike and Felix, all being pinged by the app.
I just found out that the reviewer also has to self-isolate, and so he can't make the show, and so one of the 4 audience members that we could potentially get can't make it, and I promised the cast a reviewer, so I had to ask around, and I got Malcolm to do it. I got Malcolm to pretend to be a reviewer, because MUGSS has broken me. MUGSS is broken me.
We'll figure it out, it'll all be fine, and...
Guys, the audience member's here.
What?
The audience member's
What?
here.
Good. Not the show. Okay. Well, I don't know how to get to it, so...
It'll be worth it once we can set foot on the stage.
That's it. That's the set that you built.
Yeah.
How do you expect us to be able to perform on that?
Well, we were going to perform with puppets. That's why we made the tiny
It's
set.
tiny. We don't even have puppets. We're not even doing puppets anymore.
Yeah, but that was a recent thing. We built it for all the puppets, and we
You're a
forgot
set
to
construction
change it
manager. You're
back.
supposed to be on top of these things. What do you mean you forgot? You've been in the cast.
Exactly. I've been busy with rehearsals. It's
But
been
you
a bit
knew
of a blur.
that we weren't doing puppets anymore.
Just chill.
Okay, this
It's
is
fine.
getting shit. I'm sorry.
No,
Just
it's
how
not.
could you be so incompetent?
There's no
I knew the second
no
you
reason
did
to be
this role,
rude.
it's gonna be an
We worked
absolute
really
disaster.
hard on that.
Look at
Okay?
it.
Exactly. It's beautiful. It's detailed.
It's very cute, but how are we supposed to perform on it?
We'll figure it
We
out.
don't even have costumes.
We have costumes for the puppets.
But we're not using the puppets. We're going on stage.
Yes, but the puppets have costumes, so they will costume for puppets.
I
I can't fit in the puppet costume.
It's not worth worrying about like
But
this.
we've all
of course it's worth worrying about, Jay. We're not
Why?
stage.
It's just
But it's fine. I just
This is that old gag from Spinal Tap, isn't it? Where they write down 10 inches instead of 10 feet. Well, I have to say that it was not the worst Mugs show that I've ever seen, though I have to confess I did not understand all of it. But then it is G&S, is it not? I think I was not given enough alcohol. Not by half.